Hello everyone, I'm Miftah. Today we are going to talk about something that are really useful in English expression. This is phrasal verb. Look at this expression. Wanna come along? Don't piss me off. You mess it up. You're freaking me out. Don't boss me around. Yeah, that's all a phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a combination of words that when used together usually take on a different meaning to that of the original verb. That is a verb followed by a preposition or adverb. But in this video we are going to talk about only a phrasal verb with break. The first one is break away. Break away has a definition to leave an organization, usually to form a new one. For example, the SDP broke away from the Labour Party. The next particle is down. Break down. Actually, breakdown has several definitions depending on its perspective. So the first perspective has definition to start crying. For example, he broke down in tears. That indicates he started crying in tears. The second perspective has a definition to stop working. For example, my car's broken down, so I can buy taxi. That indicates my car's stopped working, so I can buy taxi. The next perspective has definition to remove a difficult that prevents something from happening. For example, the aim of the agreements is to break down barrier to trade. That indicates the aim of the agreements is to remove the barrier to trade. The next perspective has definition to divide something such as a total amount into separate parts. For example, the amount doesn't seem quite so bad when you break it down into monthly payment. So that indicates the amount doesn't seem quite so bad when you divided it into monthly payment. The next perspective is if a relationship or discussion breakdowns, it stops being successful. For example, the talk between management and the unions broke down acrimoniously. That indicates the talk between management and the unions stopped being successful acrimoniously. The last perspective about the breakdown is to hit something such as a door or wall very hard so that it falls down. For example, firefighters had to break down the door to get into the flat. That indicates firefighter had to hit very hard the door to get into the flat. The opposite of down is up. So the next particle is up. Break up. Break up also has several perspectives. So the first perspective has definition to break into many pieces. For example, the plate broke up when he dropped it on the floor. That indicates the plate broke into many pieces when he dropped it on the floor. So the next perspective means to close an educational institute for the holiday. For example, schools break up at the end of June for the summer holiday. That indicates school closed for holiday at the end of June for the summer holiday. Break up also has definition to finish a relationship. For example, they had been going out for a couple of years before they broke up. That indicates they had been going out for a couple of years before they finished their relationship. And the last perspective of break up means to become inaudible over the telephone because of interference. For example, you are breaking up. I'll call you back in a minute. That indicate you are being inaudible. I'll call you back in a minute. The next particle is in. Break in. Break in also has several definitions depending on its perspective. So the first perspective has definition to go into a building to steal something. For example, the burglars broke in and stole the TV and radio. That indicate the burglar went into a building and stole the TV and radio. The next perspective about break-in is to interrupt something. For example, I'm sorry to break in on your conversation, but there is a problem. That's indicate I'm sorry to interrupt on your conversation, but there is a problem. The next perspective has definition to train a horse to be ridden. For example, it took ages to break the horse in. That's indicate it took ages to train the horse to be ridden. And the last perspective has definition to carefully using new product until they are fully functional. For example, I must watch my speed until I break in my new Volvo. That indicate I must watch my speed until I try new Volvo with fully functional. The next particle is out. Break out. Break out has definition to start wars or conflict or disease. For example, they are worried that war will break out. That indicate they are worried that war will be started. A phrasal verb sometimes consists of three elements like a breakout in, breakout on, breakout of. Breakout in means to develop skin sores or irritations. For example, the measles caused me to break out in a rash. That indicate the measles caused me to develop skin sore in a rash. Next is breakout on. Breakout on means sweat heavily. For example, a line of sweat broke out on her forehead. That indicate her forehead sweat heavily. Next is break out of. Break out of means to escape. For example, the prisoners broke out of prisons last night. That indicate the prisoners escaped from prison last night. The next particle is off. Break off. Break off also two perspectives. The first one has definition to break a piece from something. For example, she broke off a square of chocolate and gave it to her dog. That indicates she broke a piece of square of chocolate and gave it to her dog. The other perspective has definition to end a relationship. For example, she broke off their engagement when she found out that he'd been unfaithful. That indicates she ended their engagement when she found out that he'd been unfaithful. The last particle is through. Break through. Break through has definition to pass a barrier or obstacle. For example, the crowd broke through the police barrier and attacked the hunters. That indicates the crowd passed the police barrier and attacked the hunters. So that's all from me. And I want to make a serious video similar to this one about phrasal verb. So stay in this channel. And if you like the video, please subscribe, like, and leave your comment below. And don't forget to share this video. So thank you very much and goodbye.